Things are about to get dicey.
Law of the jungle! Law of the jungle!
Let's get it on!
You want this one? I'll be back. Huh? You're the Flame Main.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now? Tell me, what are they after?
Huh. You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else. The first rule is to never...
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you think about it though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes? You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
Whoa!
I'm not joking around. 2 seconds!
I'll save you the trouble.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies. I definitely didn't expect him to go that far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep, and he just passed out from the pain.
But why would he be so extreme?
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go.
Well, he's out cold for now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. There.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their Yep, I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be... Wait, why is there no Mora value?
No value?
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the... perhaps. But they couldn't have known... Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. They're... Huh?
What's wrong?
Shazamon Homayani?
Homayani? Could it just be another family?
I'd be surprised to find someone with just... What the heck is going on here? I'm sorry, but with this piece of paper...
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dump?
That's a possibility. But if that was they could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine direct... Yeah, funding violence and looting. The
But why would he do...
I've been to their estate many times, and the only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's, but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the master would stoop... You're probably right.
But what should we do
If you ask me, I'm not worried. Let's go find my lady. If we're lucky... I've considered that. She showed genuine... That's not how I deal with...
You're right. Paimon wants to...
Yeah. We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot.
Actually,
I see.
something like that.
You all look a little... Why don't you discuss it?
It's okay, my...
So something... On any other day...
Uh...
My lady.
The master, okay? My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Junior-san?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that in the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dia?
About that. Well, the Homiyanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of Mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dia into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dia to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a lot.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Junior-san.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to...
But is that really the right thing? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same. However, the Homiyani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further...
Dia.
It's all right, Dia.
You don't have to do that.
Hey! It's still too early to give up hope! What was the thing about friendship again? Right, yeah, trust! You said that yours besides! There's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed it.
Thank you, everyone. In which case, my...
Sure thing.
You...
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the...
Yes, my daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
So, that's what you found? Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dia, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you, the facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homiyani family.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, they had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. Those Eremites were Kusela's. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad.
Really?
He said that he had no particular... We started talking to repay.
So, that...
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even...
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad... Now, at the time, Dunyarzad was going through it, but he kept coming back to the topic. I was completely lost at first. Until...
So he was the one.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud. He was already beyond... If Dia could stay...
And that's why you...
Yes. And that's also Kusela saved my...
He was...
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. Eventually, The letter contained a...
Wait!
That's right. No, but by then, he was no longer that thought. After some deliberation, I am. In the end...
If you can, none of the things he's doing. If all he wants to do is...
Oh no.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. I don't know. I really don't know, but I guess...
I'll do my best to help. Of course, I don't know Kusela. However, he's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dakan al-Ahmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find...
Understood.
I'll stay and be with my father here. My father hasn't... I feel like...
Yes. It's time to face...
Keep up. Keep up.
I know what you've been...
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk. This place should do. All right. Back to my question. How did you all know about me?
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I waited in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakana Lakmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of more from my last run. Just give me a number, and I'm sure.
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Not
Really?
all right, I get it.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until... Seems like we're in luck. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Tia, why are you here?
See? Need takes you back. I'll uproot you.
Fuse is lit!
Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, so are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
I'll take my...
Look alive! Kill! Ah!
She's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do...
All right, everyone. He died.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while.
When did he die?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakana Lakmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit. The record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail. That's precisely it. But you, Dia, you were
I never even knew that...
you were probably the only...
Ever since you were... Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. But in the end, he was just an ordinary... He was forced to go to...
We all knew he...
And that's why he...
Wait, but...
Because you were too young when you left home after...
So... even...
Yep. It was all his...
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make an... I suggested that his words made no sense to me. But that night,
Everyone gained their... But how could we leave with a clear conscience?
The boss can't have just...
from that point on, the big fire, even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from head, but we won't let.
We've suffered plenty. All we can do is exchange. We forged Boss's hand. We were also able to Deshret's relic.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. Boss always. We used to always. As for me, but maybe we were. I'm sorry, Dia.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just, all I know is that, furthermore, I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I bet Boss would look.
Considering all the
He can think whatever, but the fact.
Keep up. A new punching bag.
Busted. Game's up. Party's over.
Time for a light show. What do we have here?